That's the old one. The intro, the first intro we had on the podcast when we made all these aesthetic upgrades. Does aesthetic just mean look, or can it mean sound too?
I'm going to go look and feel and sound. Why not?
Look and feel. Aesthetic. AES, the root word. What's that in Latin? I don't know. Waivers. It's Thursday. We're doing this a day early. Last week was a lot of fun. It's not quite as confident this time, but we got some guys to talk about. Day early because I'm doing a fantasy football draft tomorrow in Pittsburgh. Have you done any fantasy football yet?
I actually had to set keepers last night for a couple leagues, so I guess you could say I've sort of done it. So
do you play Dynasty football too?
I wouldn't say it's. I guess it is Dynasty. Yeah, I mean we keep. One of them is really complicated. It has the individual defensive players. So, which actually, I would love to find a league that was just that, because I seem to do pretty well at that. I have figured that one out. It's all about finding the guys who play safety but are eligible at cornerback, and then of course loading your team with linebackers who play on bad defenses who are going to have to make a lot of tackles.
In this day and age, the way to win fantasy leagues is to make leagues that have really weird settings that nobody else is talking about, and then you can exploit them. Right?
Specialize in that, yes.
Yeah, just because you get, football content, my goodness, like there are tens of thousands of people all putting stuff out. It's not all the same quality, obviously, but there's very little. It's very easy to know what you're doing pretty well. But that'll be fun tomorrow night with me and my friends. The same place we do the baseball draft. That's one of my favorite times of year, and I'm cramming. I bought the Establish the Run package. So What I do is I just puppet everything those guys say, Adam Levitan and Evan Silva, and I act like it's my idea, and then I try to sound really smart. But another life advice for the week, right? If you know you don't know something, just find someone that does and just do what they say, right? Like, don't be full of yourself. I'll draft my own baseball teams. I'll just listen to myself because I put in all the research and all the stuff over the winter. But football, happy to take someone else's advice and pay them for it. So baseball waiver wire targets. Yeah, you put it in. Let's talk about Joshua Baez first. I don't know. I guess there's not much to say, but we talked about, like, it was basically like as our podcast wrapped up last week and we were saying, add him now, he's going to get called up. Like that happened. It might have even been almost during. I don't know. It was within a couple hours after.
Yes.
And so I didn't get him. I remember even on the show, I said, I wish I hadn't used all my ads because I would add him right now.
Right.
I'll wait till Sunday. I was going to do it on Sunday. We stopped the podcast. I go like swimming with my kids or something after work. Baez gets called up. This guy, Paul, who's in first place in our league, picks him up. I'm playing Paul. Joshua Baez hits 3 homers on Saturday against me. But since then, hitless, right? He stole a couple bases the other day off the bench or something like that. But what do we think? I mean, which side of Baez are we going to get?
You're going to get a little bit of both. It's going to be some home runs. It's going to be some stolen bases. And it's going to be a fairly low batting average, at least this year.
It's going to be like 190.
It could be. It could be that low. But it's hard to say because I haven't seen the games that he played. I obviously saw the replays of the 3 home run game. A lot of people are talking about how you want to play him against left-handed pitchers because he hit all those home runs off of Matthew Boyd, who was a left-hander for the Cubs. But I'm not sure that his splits in the minors have been that drastic all the time. But it's a new guy. It's a new player prospect. They're going to have ups and downs. That is the usual way things go. So I think he could hit. He might get 10 home runs by the end of the season. Now it's only 7 more, but that's still something. And he could steal 10 bases at the same time. So I don't know. It depends on how long your season is. Obviously, for the Roto folks, it's all the way to the end. For head-to-head folks, it may only be another 3 or 4 weeks. So
he does have it's 25 plate appearances. So the K rate you don't want to look at in this small sample. This is just kind of some like data tips and tricks maybe. I think that zone contact rate, although that's cutting the sample even more because he's probably only seen a couple dozen pitches in the zone. But contact rate will give you some early idea of strikeout rate. And the big problem guys are like in the low 60s, mid 60s. I think Murakami and those types are like the lowest, and they're usually around 62, 63%. With Joshua Baez, it's 72% contact rate. So that's still really low, but it's not like so
drastic.
The guy won't be able to hang in the majors. And zone contact rate, again, this is a very small sample. I can't see it. Like in 25 plate appearances, you see like 4.5 pitches per at bat, and like half of those are in the zone. And then you're not even swinging at all of those. So this is a very cut down data sample, but it's 86% in the zone. That might be 10 swings. I don't know.
Yeah. And that's good for in the zone.
Good signs. Yeah, it's better than the other way. He's got a .077 BABIP because he's got, 4 hits and 3 home runs? Did he – or does he even have a hit that's on – does he just have the 3 hits?
He got the hit last night, I believe.
He's got to because the BABIP wouldn't count the homers. So, he's 1 for 16 on balls in play, and that's obviously the problem. So, anyone with this kind of home runs and steals, you just start him and you just – I don't know if you need to like swap in someone else into your lineup that has a higher batting average to buoy it, because I don't think there's much chance he hits over 250, and it could be like 200 for this year. But yeah, that was exciting. I told my friend Paul, we were chatting, the first home run on Saturday was cool, and then putting 2 more on my team in a close matchup, I was like, oh, and I'm just getting pissed off, okay, like I'll give you the one. That's cool. That's a cool thing to do, is first swing, first pitch, and then anyway, 3 at-bats, 3 home runs. Obviously very impressive. Shout out to me on Aaron Nola, too. That has worked very well. Yeah.
Very impressive.
And let's not talk about Andrew Painter or Jackson Kent. Okay, we talked about those 2 last week, and it didn't go too well, Andrew Painter. But Andrew Painter does show up here. Upcoming schedule streamers is always kind of giving you a look. A lot of you guys are probably out there just kind of abandoning hope of finding like a rest of season replacement. And it's not a bad idea to just stream it, pick out the best matchups every week and go that way. So here's the names this week. Reading them if you're not watching: Mitch Bratt, lefty for Arizona. He goes to at home against Cincinnati, and then goes to San Francisco. So it doesn't get much better than that. But is Mitch Bratt good enough to do some things?
Yes, I would say so. I've picked him up in a lot of places. I sort of started following him last year when he was with the Rangers. He was just 21 last year, got already up to AA, ended up getting traded in the Merrill Kelly trade to Arizona. And, got stuck in the PCL to start this season, but he has gotten out of there, and he has looked pretty good. His ERA was pretty impressive, but his xERA was not in the PCL, so that's no big surprise there. But he can avoid contact. Sometimes he's a strikeout guy. Sometimes he's not a strikeout guy. So he's a definite buy for me if you haven't gotten him already.
For the schedule purposes, I guess. We're seeing right now, it's Thursday afternoon, like I said, we're seeing Michael McGreevy throw. He's about to throw 6 scoreless innings against the Reds, so you can just stream in almost anybody against them. They've been a disaster. Although Ellie and Stewart are doing fine, but the rest of that lineup is just a disaster. Bratt has a 16% K rate, 13% walk rate, so that's only a 2.5% K minus walk, but it's been a little bit better lately. He's got a 9 strikeout game against the Padres on the record, and then 6 decent innings against the Rockies the other day. So, he's not someone you really is going to make a big difference for you, like be a long-term hold guy, really low swing and strike rate, higher ball rate and stuff. None of it looks great, but he's probably good enough to get some things done against the Reds and Giants. Andrew Painter, Cardinals really wouldn't want to start him in that one. And then at the Angels, though, and, we had 3 good starts and then 1 bad one, gave up, I think, 5 runs last time, but still a new pitch mix, change up, things have changed. It's all the same, all the things we said last week. If you listen to that, and that I've been saying in the daily notes apply, we're not going to throw those things out because of one start. Joe Musgrove's returning. I was a little bit surprised to see his ownership being really low. He's pretty widely available. I get it. Like, Musgrove was never an ace. This isn't like a Cole Ragans type dude finally coming back. But I'm going to pull up some of the rehab stuff. And I don't know, Joe Musgrove he probably would have been drafted as like a top 40, top 50 starting pitcher this year if he was healthy. And now he's coming back.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens with him. The reports have been sort of here and there in terms of his rehab starts. Some of them have been good, some not so good. I don't know that he's going to be super consistent to start with. But like you said, I would probably say he's more of a top 75 pitcher at this time in his career.
Yeah.
But you know, pitching at home in San Diego is always a good thing. Minnesota doing a little better. Pittsburgh, I don't know what's going on with their bats, but
yeah,
it'll be an interesting starting point for Musgrove.
We haven't seen Musgrove since 2024.
Yeah, that's why his
yeah,
it's been a long rehab process for Joe.
And he's 33, so it's probably we're even if we assume he's gonna be the same guy, it's still like take it or leave it. But then it's really unlikely after at 33 missing 2 years, but could happen. I don't know. Good pitcher, big guy. Maybe that helps. Andrew Alvarez has about the nuts at Texas, at home against the Rockies, versus the Marlins that should be at home too. So at the Rangers and then home against the Rockies and Marlins. Same thing applies. We're talking 2 weeks projecting rotations out, or 10 days, 12 days. So that Miami start very well could not happen. But if they stay on their rotation, Andrew Alvarez gets 3 really good matchups there. Not a great pitcher, kind of like Mitch Bratt, lefty, not a lot of strikeouts, but has some good outings. That's probably not quite as good as Mitch Bratt overall, a different kind of player there. But Andrew Alvarez, you could do worse. Jake Irvin, the Nationals righty, goes to Miami, and then at home against the Rockies, probably not really good enough to consider. And I don't know, the Rockies have some interesting players. Even the Marlins, like there's some decent young hitters on these lineups, so they're not like auto start against right now, like a team like the Athletics would be, that I would say right now, just like start almost anybody against the Athletics. But Jake Irvin could be worse. And Cody Bradford with a D. Let me fix my typos. Versus the Angels this weekend, and then at Milwaukee. Probably wouldn't do it. He just doesn't get strikeouts, but he throws a lot of strikes, could help your whip, and the Angels matchup's one of the better ones.
Yes.
Okay. Didn't happen for Cade Anderson. Is it happening this week as we get into shallow league pitcher targets?
I don't know, but I got a news flash for the Mariners. Bryce Miller is not good.
Yeah.
So find him a nice, comfortable seat on the bench or put him on the IL, because there's something wrong with him. He was fine for a little while, but the last month and a half, he is not. So
yeah, he's
the interesting thing for me is going to be, there's a lot of people who are talking about, are any of these prospects going to get called up? Like usually, September, they extend a number of people that are in the major leagues on your roster, and you get all kinds of guys who come up. Well, the 40-man is going to be a big deal this year, because as soon as the lockout comes, if you are on the 40-man, guess what? You don't play. If you're not on the 40-man and there's a lockout in the spring, well, then you're still going to spring training and you're still getting ready for your minor league season. So I know Franklin Arias is one of the players who is sort of on the cusp of, do they bring him up or don't they? I don't think Cade Anderson is in the same place. Cade Anderson is a finished product. This is who he is. So there's no reason for the Mariners to not bring him up.
So let me clarify that for you.
Sure.
If this is kind of so if there's a lockout, then in theory, the minor league seasons would go off as normal.
Yes.
Okay.
And so anybody who is not on the 40-man is eligible to play in the minors.
Okay. So if the Seattle Mariners in the major leagues weren't playing baseball in April, but their AAA, AA teams were, then if Cade is called up right now, he would not be allowed to play in AA, AAA next year. That's what you're saying. So there is some incentive to hold him down for that reason. But I think your point is good. Like, they don't need him to start in AA or AAA anymore. You can throw. We almost talk like if these guys aren't playing in games, they're not able to play baseball. Like, you can go any day, walk out to a mound and pretend you're throwing. Like, you can keep your arm alive or whatever. But yeah, I mean, it's August 20th and he's still not up, and it's been 3 weeks since the trade deadline now. I don't know. They're coming home for a series. I think it start tomorrow.
Yes.
So maybe that's it.
And if Wu can't make this start, he got pulled out early from his last start with an injury. So that'll be another thing to watch. I gotta imagine that it's going to happen very soon. There's really no. I mean, I don't know how many times you can go out there and throw 5 or 6 innings, give up 1 hit, 1 walk, and strike out 9, and you just keep throwing him out there. What is he learning from that?
Yeah, unless they just are about to hit his innings that they wanted anyway. I picked him up on July 12th, so this is just a disaster for me. My team's been doing well, but I told myself I'm cutting him Sunday if he doesn't come up this weekend. That's what I told myself, but no one cares.
So everybody, John just told you, pick him up on Monday. There you go.
Yeah. Or I'd say it's a good chance. This is the last chance I'm giving him, right? This weekend, it makes sense. Wu was a little bit hurt. Miller has proven again this week to be awful. Even like Hancock's well above his career high innings. Like, it just makes a lot of sense for them to get somebody else in here. And they're still not out of the playoffs. I mean, I don't think they really have much of a chance, but they're like 3 or 4 games back. There's a lot of teams ahead of them, so it probably won't happen. But they can't use that excuse as like, oh, we're packing it in. So Cade Anderson once again, 35% owned, despite, I mean, the minor league numbers. This isn't just like, to me, this isn't like, I don't know, other decently highly touted pitching prospects that's come up. Like, this guy's numbers you just don't see it. Ks, walks, and home runs. Like, he's got like a 40% freaking K minus, or 30%. I guess it's 30% K minus walk.
40% of the guys he faces. So
yeah. Okay. Well, and his walk rate is like 5% or 6%, and he's given up like 0.4 home runs per 9 or something. Like, you just don't see it all together. So, and then people say it's only in AA, and it's true, but that's true because maybe the competition level in AA is a little bit worse than AAA, but it says nothing about the Mariner situation. We've talked about this before. They're not going to send him to AAA. If they wanted to do that, they would have done it already. They just don't like these pitchers throwing in that Pacific Coast League where things get really ugly for pitchers. I don't know if it's like a mental thing. They don't want them to go through the high ERA, or they just don't think they can learn as much there about the guy, or they're just better developed in AA. But we saw it with most of their pitching. They spent no or very little time in AAA. So don't worry that Cade Anderson is only in AA. And he would have to regress a whole long way to not have good numbers. So it just seems like he'll pick up and do just fine in the major leagues, and if not, be an ace right away. But all right, that's enough on him. I'm not talking about him next week. If he's not up, we're not talking about him. Okay.
Deal.
Matthew Liberatore. Yes.
Yeah.
Good
he
couple
has
weeks,
been a huge pain for me.
Yeah.
I'm sure I'm not alone. I keep thinking he's going to get it done. I thought for sure this year he was going to take a big step and he was going to be a guy. He is not. 2-week start this week. He gets the Orioles and the Pirates both in Busch Stadium. And while he hasn't been better at Busch than on the road, he has been better this month than he has all year. This is a kind of mid.
Here's the log. The game log, the scoring log for Matt Liberatore is on the screen, and it is a wild ride.
It is up, down, up, down, up, down. Very little consistency. As you can see here, only a couple times has he had only one time has he had a 220-point start back to back. Now he was 18 and 23 last time, so the last 2 starts. So, but he was 1 before that. So,
and the trend line is up. A marble would roll right to left on that trend line. Mm-hmm. So, I put a desk up in my floating desk on the wall, and it was pretty much level. I think the desk I put up is about what this trend line is. It's like, I think a marble would probably roll, but it's good enough where the kids can sit and write and read on it. So anyway, okay. So yeah, Liberatore, I agree. I mean, You get good starts. You've gotten them from time to time. He's given you a few good starts every month, and sometimes that's enough. The strikeouts have been pretty good lately too. Curveball's really good. Closers.
Yes, closers.
Kodai Senga. The Mets closer.
Meet your new Mets closer. Devin Williams has been on the IL. I don't know if he automatically comes back off the IL and is the closer because Senga has been elite.
Yeah, I wonder is he just throwing the forkball every time? Oh, look at that.
I think it definitely sets him up to be able to go a little harder, throw a little harder, which I think makes the forkball even better. So, yeah. Speaking of throwing hard, Ben Joyce has come off the IL after his labrum surgery, and he is throwing hard like he always does, near 105 miles an hour. But now he's getting a chance to be the closer with, of course, the guy I threw out there last year, Sammy Terra, all of a sudden mysteriously missing for a week. So I'm assuming he's hurt. And Joyce, he's the guy that throws really hard and had been throwing it really hard, really straight, which wasn't very effective. But since he's come back, 5 innings, only given up 1 hit, struck out 6, and he's got 2 saves. So he might be a guy, at least through the end of the season, that I would recommend you pick up.
That guy has to hate Jacob Misiorowski. Ben Joyce was the velo guy for how many years?
He was.
And now Misiorowski is throwing harder than him like 100 times a game or whatever it is. So Ben Joyce, 101.7 average velo on the 4-seamer, 12.2 swinging strike rate, 61% strike, which is super elite for any pitch. So yeah, the fastball looks good. And yeah, it was kind of a long time coming. We figured Ben Joyce would be the Angels closer, but injuries and, he hasn't always been great, but I would agree there. Too bad, because the guy you dug up, Sammy Natera, last week was pretty good. Yeah. So sorry for anybody who picked him up and thought they had something, but we advise just to swap for Ben Joyce.
Or just look forward to next year. It'll be interesting. The Angels might actually have a bullpen with Joyce and Natera.
Yeah. And yeah, Mason Montgomery, he's got the closer music and stuff for the Pirates. I really thought I was with you. Like I said on Twitter during the trade deadline, really thought it was Luke Weaver, but Mason Montgomery just hasn't given anything up. I mean, I can pull up the numbers. It's been incredible. The Pirates are still, they're about a 500 team, so they'll get some wins, not like the Angels. The save should be there. Montgomery, going back to July 27th, let's start there. And probably even further back than that, but I'm picking this. If we go to July 27th, I got it. It's hard to pick the right date. 8 innings, 17 strikeouts, 3 hits, no runs for Montgomery. So just nails. Back to June 29th, picking the slider randomly, 19 innings, 2 runs allowed, 38 strikeouts in 19 innings, 6 walks, 1 home run. And he does look like the traditional kind of role for the Pirates. And with the bullpen guys they added, it has actually helped Montgomery. It was kind of the inverse of what we thought, because now they don't need him in the 7th or whenever the leverage gets there. They can go to Weaver or Duvall or Yates or whoever else. I haven't been watching Pirate games, though, so not as well versed now because I had to give up on them. That's the rule. They're under 500. I don't watch. I do something else more productive. So Christian Scott.
Good example of what a bullpen prospect looks like. Now, a few years ago when he was with the Rays, Montgomery was a guy who had a breakout season, all of a sudden a huge season. Like he had always been wild. All of a sudden he had a year that he wasn't that wild. And the Rays thought maybe this guy could be a starter. But he was always a guy that, was like a 4 or 5 inning pitcher in the minors. And I think they actually have Mason Montgomery again with the Rays. And his name is Brody Hopkins. So who apparently is going to be moving to the bullpen for the Rays here soon. So since he seems to be doing that in AAA. So if you want get ahead of the group on Mason Montgomery, the future Brody Hopkins out there, he's going to be the next one.
Will the Rays ever just scrap starting pitching altogether and just go like...
If there was some team that would do it, I think that would be the team that would do it. I've always thought that if you could put together an entire pitching group of guys who throw 3 innings.
Yeah, 3-3-3.
I mean, you see it in the playoffs all the time.
Yeah.
So I understand why it only seems to happen there, but I mean, I don't know.
But then, I guess when
someone should figure it out.
When you come to the time in the week when things go really south and 2 guys get blown up, and then you have to use the other guys and things get really discombobulated, like it's nice to have a couple guys that are reliably eating up 6 innings. So that's probably the reason it won't happen. But yeah, I've thought about that too. Like that's definitely the trend. I remember whatever it was 7-8 years ago, first time the Rays used an opener. I mean, this was an unheard of thing. It was like, the Rays are going to do what? And now I guess it's not common. Like when the Rays were doing that, it wasn't out of necessity at first. They just thought it was a good idea. I think they would open, maybe I'm wrong, but right now when you see an opener, it's mostly like, the starter's really bad and we just don't want him to face the top of the lineup, or like this is basically a bullpen game. But the Rays were doing that like a lot just ahead of actual decent starters. So And then you're right. Like when it matters the most in the playoffs, you're seeing a bunch of bullpen matchup things. And I get it. Like you can't do that over 162 game seasons. There is yet to approach the regular season a lot differently than the postseason. But yeah, that trend probably isn't going to turn back around. You're not going to be seeing dudes averaging 7-8 innings probably ever again, unless they change the rules to force it. Christian Scott, 55%, so kind of over. I just want to pat myself on the back, I guess. I don't know. Like Christian Scott finally got through. He got into the 7th inning and did almost kind of blow a quality start. He got 6.1 innings against the Nationals last week, 7 strikeouts. So that was tying a season high in strikeouts. No, that's not right. He struck out 8 Marlins once, but second highest strikeout total of the year and a season high in innings. And he's just been really good. I don't know. We said the rule last week, 5+ starts and a K minus walk rate of 20% means you own the guy. And Scott, for his last 12 starts, has a 21.3% K minus walk. So he's really good. And I'm going to keep recommending him, even though he's over 55%. I just think he should be like 75, 80%. Jacob Lopez in Kansas City. This is more of a streamer pick, but talked about him again last week. 19% K minus walk over the last month. You agree with me, right? People might not agree with me to start him in Sacramento. I don't know if I agree with myself on that, but on the road, he seems like a smash, right?
On the road is a lot easier to take, but he has had some good games at home. So
yeah,
when he's on, he's on. So you could consider him, especially if it's a weaker matchup in Sacramento.
And Emmett Sheehan, he's back. I think who got hurt? Robleski got hurt?
Yes.
So Emmett Sheehan comes back. I think he made like 2 or 3 starts in AAA. Yeah, I mean, he was bad and then he got demoted and now he's being called up not because they won him, but because they had an injury. But I wasn't fully done with Sheehan. Is this in shallow league? Okay, my bad. He should not be in shallow league, but he was just like, he had this JA Sierra, which is basically just normal Sierra, a 299. Like he had K to walk, stuff was good. He just kept giving up a bunch of home runs. I don't know. It just always seemed like he was one little tweak away from figuring it out. I'm not saying him for a 10 or 12 team league. Like I had him in my 10 team league. I'm not going to pick him back up again until maybe he comes out and has a good start or something. So maybe it's more of a deep league thing, but I just don't think it's crazy that he could have a pretty nice end of the season. Anything to add?
No, he's one of those guys that the under the hood always looks better than what the numbers are at the end of the day. So
yeah,
eventually those guys either break through or they go away. So maybe next year.
How many guys that have like a 20% K minus walk and then go away? I guess I wouldn't remember them because they're gone, but that's the problem with selective memory. Deep league pitcher targets, you're all over it. George Klassen, a DFS hero from last week, had an awesome start. You wrote him up. Although you did spell his name wrong, John, I gotta call you out. It's Klassen.
There we go.
So
I think everyone needs an editor. My editor used to always say. It's interesting how this sort of all coincided with the pitching coaches for the Angels getting fired for reportedly not making sufficient use of the data analytics and technology that they were given. Because right after that, Klassen got 2 starts and he has been pretty much lights out. Control has always been the question mark with him. And he went from the 3 starts he had prior to August 11th were 14 walks in 8 2/3 innings. And since then, he's had 4 walks in 13 innings. So,
yeah,
coincidence? I think not.
In the data, there was the explanation for how to not walk 14 guys. That's funny. 2 starts ago against the Rangers, 6 innings, 2 runs, 5 strikeouts, 1 walk. Last time, 7 big scoreless innings against the Astros, 1 hit, no runs. Still a 18% walk rate on the year. So that's really bad. But last couple starts, it is, I don't know. What is it? Last 2 starts, it's almost silly to even say this, but let's say it. Since August 8th, it's a 8% walk rate. So 24.5% K rate, 8.2% walk rate for Klassen last 2. That'll play just fine. Really good slider. I mean, his slider is just disgusting. Like, can't hit it. So Yeah, I totally agree with George Klassen being pretty interesting as a streamer now, but maybe even in hold and maybe one of those sneaky guys we're talking about for next year. A guy without good stuff, total opposite here, but kind of the same situation, Cal Quantrill. I can't believe this guy's still in the league, much less being talked about in fantasy baseball.
Yes. I mean, I had to pick him up this week because I had a Max Fried injury, of course, on Monday. So got Quantrill added to my team, and it's a good week to have him. He's going against the Nationals and the Angels, and both those games are going to be in Texas. So he has been pretty good everywhere, though, surprisingly, and never going to be a guy who's going to get a lot of strikeouts. One of the things I noticed is that right-hand hitters are hitting 200 against him this year. Last year, they were hitting 335. This guy's a right-hander. That's outrageous. So I don't know what he found to figure that out, but that is a huge difference.
I think he just found some good luck. That's what I would say. Let's see. Sinker, cutter, four-seam, splitter to righties. He does throw 4 different pitches. Maybe it's a mixed thing. Yeah, just no whiffs there. I mean, the ground ball rate's not even that high. I don't know. I mean, Texas is weird. We've seen weird stuff happen, and yeah, Quantrill's earned it, but I'm not going to be recommending him myself. And, whatever. And you're not either. You're not saying anything like conviction, but, nobody's going to be surprised if he has a couple.
He's definitely a good fill-in and maybe a streamer.
Yeah. I don't have much better options for you. Kristen Javier, but he's throwing a bunch of strikes. I mean, he's doing that. He had a decent-ish outing last time, so he's back in the Astros rotation. And last time it was short. It was 4 innings, 2 runs, 5 strikeouts. He just he's got 2 walks in his last 9 plus 11 last 20 innings, so that's something. And he's got a 7 strikeout game, a 5 strikeout game. He's a different kind of. He's retooled a little bit. Cutter, still a really high fly ball rate. I think he's going to get hit for the home run, but if he's not walking anybody, solo home runs aren't the worst thing. We're talking like desperation guys here, but Javier should be a little bit on the radar. Ryan Gusto, another disgusting one. 19% K minus walk in his last 5 starts, though. Got some decent stuff, and the Marlins seem to be getting some good innings out of him. And then Grayson.
He definitely gets stuck behind an opener a number of times too.
Oh yeah, well, I thought that could actually raise your win chances if you're coming in for 4 or 5 innings after the opener. Like if you throw 4 innings, you literally can't get a win by the rules if you start the game. But if you come in after an opener and throw 4 innings and your team leads the whole time, usually you're getting it, because at that point it's up to the official scorer to determine the most effective pitcher or something like that. It's like a judgment call. But I looked it up a couple months ago, and the win rates aren't actually any higher with bulk guys. However, I don't think I adjusted that for quality of pitcher. Typically, they're worse quality of pitcher doing the bulk stuff, so it's not apples to apples, right? I end up comparing like a sample where Tarek Skuball's in with a sample of a bunch of Ryan Gusto guys, so that's not really fair. But theoretically, it makes sense that there is less of a qualification to get a win if you're not a traditional starter. So I've always thought that kind of statistical quirk thing was interesting. We've seen plenty of weird statistical rule stuff and whatnot in baseball this year. So the thing with the sac fly run, what was that Red Sox Blue Jays game with
the 4th out? Yeah.
We're not even gonna get. I thought about getting into it in the Daily Notes the next day, and I was like, I'm not gonna try to understand this. Didn't want to spend time on it. Grayson Rodriguez last. I don't know. Doesn't look good. Still get hit hard. Didn't have a good outing last time. 27.5% K rate.
Last work on you on this one. You're gonna have to quit Grayson Rodriguez.
Okay. It's an It's got a 27.5% K rate last 5 starts, and that's good. So, yeah. I mean, I was not buying in at all, but if you're in like a 20-team league and you want some strikeouts, it seems like maybe you could do that. But yeah, we'll be done with him soon. Shallow league hitter targets. Yeah, Jeff McNeil I was going to put on here, but you already had him. Just like really crushing. Good point here. Might be the last man standing for the Athletics. Injuries are crazy, but McNeil's picking it up.
Yeah, and he was a guy that the Mets dumped in a salary dump in the preseason, and was a guy that didn't really seem to make any sense with the Athletics and had a hard time figuring out playing time. He wasn't hitting very well. But he's also a very streaky guy, and since the All-Star break, hitting 386, has 3 home runs, which is as many as he had in his first 85 games since the All-Star break. So he's in there. He's getting playing time. He's playing first. He's playing second. He's playing in the outfield. He's playing wherever they need him. But obviously, I mean, all the big guns are gone for the A's. So that's a team that I'm interested in streaming against when they're on the road. So not much left
Even
in
at
there.
home, man. No one's hitting home runs.
It hasn't been quite the thing. But obviously, multi-positional eligibility. He's a guy that you could plug in at different spots, and the bat's there. It comes and goes, and it's on the go now.
Yeah, since July started, even I noticed it in August too. But even since July, he's hitting 340. Maybe it's just what you just said. Maybe I'm repeating, but 843 OPS, 3 bombs, 5 steals since July, and about 109 plate appearances. So McNeil arrow is massively pointing up. He's a guy we've been seeing in DFS a lot lately too. Playing DFS kind of gets you ahead of this stuff. You kind of see these guys that are hitting at the top of the lineup and they project pretty well, and you look at the stats and you're like, oh, they've actually been pretty good. So McNeil's a good one. Griffin Conine, you kind of told me to cool my jets on Conine last week, but then I guess it's just one more homer since we talked last. Hit a bomb 2 days ago on the 18th. 14 bombs now, 913 OPS for the year for Griff.
Yeah, I think my bigger concern is the Marlins as a whole. Obviously, Otto Lopez has remembered that he's Otto Lopez and he's not going to hit 335 for the season. So, but that seems to be going across the team. All of their hitters that were hot are gone. Hicks got traded. He was one of their hotter hitters. Stowers is on the IL. So, if I was the Marlins, it might be a good time to start bringing up some of those guys from AAA. Of course, they are the perfect team that doesn't want to do that thing. So,
yeah,
we'll see how that goes.
Otto Lopez is an interesting call out. They should have like almost another podcast every week for like the opposite of waivers, like drops, whatever. Should you drop?
Sure.
We don't have time for that, but batting average is such an annoying stat. So you almost just shouldn't do this. Just don't get your batting average from guys with no power or speed. And that's not the case with Lopez. He's got 24 steals, but his batting average is by month 330 in April. We're talking about Otto Lopez here for anybody confused. We're not talking about a waiver guy, but you brought it up and it's interesting. Otto Lopez 330 in April, 339 in May, 340 in June, 284 in July, so it started to slip, and now 217 in August. He's got 2 homers since July. Still stealing some bases. He's got about a handful of bases each month, but it's just like if you're, the batting average thing seems like it can just go away, like unexplainably. I don't know what it is. If you stop hitting line drives for a while, and it beats me. He's not striking out anymore. He's got 12% K rate in July, 8% in August. It's just batted balls are weird. Anyway, Christian Encarnacion Strand, we're calling him Pete Alonso Light. 811 OPS, 19% barrel rate, 25% K. Keeps hitting bombs. I guess he went cold for a little bit after he hit a couple right off the call up to the majors, but got 3 more since August 11th. And again, he's got 6 homers now in 93 plate appearances. That's 1 every 15. That's very good. And he's lifting the ball and not striking out a ton, and that seems to work. It probably won't last, but I don't know. If you need a first baseman, he would be one of my picks. Deep league, let's do it. Rafael Flores. I was wondering if you were going to put him on here. I wrote a lot about him in the Daily Notes this morning, but let's hear your take on Rafael Flores Jr., the Pirates catcher.
Yeah, he has gotten back into his power again. When he was a Yankee prospect, they were wondering when the power would come, and it came in 2024, and it came again in 2025. He had 2 pretty decent seasons in the AA and in AAA. Ended up getting traded to the Pirates in the David Bednar deal last year. And he didn't really latch on very well last year, but started this season in AAA, had a couple of trips up to the majors, went back to AAA, didn't seem to be finding a home. Indy Rodriguez gets put on the IL. He comes up one more time, and this time he has found his power in the majors.
6 bombs I mean, he's like got as many as Vlad Guerrero. Is that right? How many does Vlad have?
It's probably
7.
right
All right,
in
one
that.
more for Flores, and then he'll match Vladdy Guerrero. In the notes you can go read it. That's always free, or at least now it is. I was unimpressed with the minor league numbers, and that was kind of a red flag. And I looked at the prospect rankings, and they weren't very high on him. So just like, I don't know, everything except what he's done in the majors and 56 plate appearances would say he's probably not very good. But I guess what's happening in the major leagues right now is the most important thing. And he's certainly going to have to play more because Henry Davis is not the guy. And Flores won them the game yesterday. I didn't watch it, but I did go back and watch the highlights because it was so exciting for the Pirates. Nobody cares, but whatever. Another week of me talking about the Pirates. So he doesn't even start the game. They're down by 2. I think they're down 3-1. In the 7th inning, he pinch hits a home run. And then in the 9th inning, comes back up and hits the game-tying home run. And then Brandon Lau hits a walk-off home run. So that's pretty exciting. So 2 homers off the bench. First time in Pirates history anyone's ever done that. I saw that stat. How about that? Like 150-some years of Pirate baseball, or 130, whatever it is, since the 1880s. No one's ever done that before him. So he hits the ball hard and gets it in the air, and doesn't strike out too much so far. So catching prospect Flores. Someone in my home league picked him up. They didn't do this directly, but they picked up Flores after that home run because we're all Pirate fans, and they watch, and we're always like quick to get the Pirate guy. But then today they dropped Cal Raleigh. So you could say that they picked up Flores for Cal Raleigh, which, who saw that coming?
He could have got pretty good odds on that in March.
Yeah. Would you cut Cal Raleigh in like a 12-team league?
I actually, he got cut in a 16-team league that I'm in, and I picked him up.
That makes sense.
Spent a large waiver amount. It's a dynasty league, so I get to hold on to him. And this year, it's just all of the luck he had last year is converted into all the bad luck he has this year. So next year he'll be back at the 225, 30 home run guy that he had been before.
It's going to be a huge buy low next year for sure. I think that's one of the MLBDW 10 commandments of fantasy baseball. Never be the first guy to take a catcher. And that looks really good every year, especially this year, because you would have. I doubt many Cal Raleigh teams in like 12-team leagues with playoffs. Like, what percent of Cal Raleigh teams are going to make the playoffs? Like, they use the 2nd or 3rd round pick on the guy. He's got to be one of the biggest killer picks of all time of fantasy baseball. I mean, it's been wild. There's probably others for injuries and stuff, but in terms of guys that you took really high, expecting a lot, and they didn't really. He did get hurt, but whatever. You get what I'm saying. It's been a total disaster. And now I got Henry Bolte. I actually feel decent about this one. There's going to be kind of a hodgepodge of really gross recommendations for me, but we're trying to get you some names. Bolte's just been hitting 273 now, and it's 350 XWOBA, expected WOBA 350. That's really high in August for Bolte. Homers and speed, and he's one of these young guys that they're going to play. And I don't know, things are just kind of coming into form for him. We thought he'd be pretty disastrous, plate discipline wise, launch angle wise, and it hasn't been great, but making some strides, and the talent is certainly there. So I kind of like a little ad on him in your 15-team leagues.
Yeah, 24% strikeout rate is low for him, so that's a good sign, especially he's been up for a while now. But
it's this month. We're talking about 3 weeks with that number, so that could be fake. But
no, I think he'd been making improvements. I mean, last year in AA, he showed improvements in his contact rates. He did again in the early part of the season in AAA. It's something where I think he is a guy, I am always gravitating towards guys that I think can be 2020 guys, and I think he can be a 2030 guy. He has, 70 grade speed, so this is a good pickup.
Yeah, any plate discipline improvements, get some balls in the air, get on base, steal some bases. There's a lot of fantasy upside there. I mean, he's kind of like Joshua Baez, like light or something. I don't know, like not as big of a name, I guess, but kind of similar skill profile. Okay, some first basemen that are all kind of the same. You had Nathaniel Lowe on here first, so you go ahead. But I also added Josh Bell and Andres Chaparro. Just kind of the same kind of player, but go ahead.
I was going to say those are all pretty much the same guy. Lowe, I'm just threw on here because I figured for sure he had his resurgence since he was playing in Cincinnati's Great American Ballpark. at the beginning of this season, and I figured as soon as he went to Cleveland, that was all over, but it doesn't seem to be that way. He's hitting just as well and pretty much the same amount as he was before. He is definitely strong side platoon, and I put strong side platoon plus because I believe Rhys Hoskins is injured again, so he may be getting all the time at first base. So,
yeah, just kind of a good hitter. I mean, a lot of first basemen maybe just get cut a little bit quicker because it's easy to find someone else who can play first base. And I mean, it's not a great hit or whatever, but this is what he's played on: the Rays, Rangers, Reds, Red Sox, and now Cleveland, Nationals. Six. Yeah. That's 6 in like 3 or 4 years at least.
Got a lot of uniforms now.
Yeah, so it's a short name though. I guess the people that stitch the jerseys don't have to spend too much time. I always feel bad for those, like even like I was at a high A game last night, and nobody was rehabbing there. Sometimes the sometimes the Cubs players go there for a quick rehab because it's really close to Chicago, but didn't have the fortune of seeing that. But I wondered if the people that have to do the jerseys are like, I really got to make this jersey for one game. Like this dude's gonna be here for one game. We really got to do this. But I saw Bryce Rayner last night had a big game, so that was cool. I guess I should think that's cool.
Yeah, big prospect for the Tigers.
Yeah. Number 3 overall. And then Andres Chaparro, I don't know. Nobody really thought of him as any good, and I don't think the skills are very good, but he is number 5 on the player rater at first base since the All-Star break. 320 average, 7 homers, 25 RBIs. There's something in the water in Washington, D.C. Could make a political joke, I guess. The same like demon juice or whatever that goes on there is helping the Nationals hitters. It could have gone bad. Joey Ortiz, again, just hitting 299 since June 1st. Not doing a lot, 6 homers, but he's hitting a lot of base hits, kind of a Brewers.
Yeah, looks like he's going to be back leading the platoon on third base now that Cooper Pratt is back again, although I would imagine he's probably going to get at least a week or a game a week at shortstop. So, yeah, he's hitting well.
Who is their shortstop?
Cooper Pratt.
Okay.
He just came back from the IL last night.
So Ortiz is more of a third baseman?
He's been playing third base, but he started the season as shortstop. So he has multiple position eligibility and was playing at shortstop while Pratt was on the IL. Hamstring problem for Pratt, so that could spring up again at any time. I wouldn't be surprised if Joey Ortiz gets some more playing time shortstop.
Okay. Not much other than some batting average, and even that, like we just talked about Lauder Lopez, like it's like the inverse. Joey Ortiz did nothing for the first couple months, but okay, if you need a hitter that can hit for some batting average, get some base hits, and play Joey Ortiz. Charles McAdoo, your guy.
Yeah, he was pretty decent last year in AA. He's been pretty decent in AAA this year. Nothing amazing. Last year was sort of a 15 homer, 30 steal season. This season has been more of a 15 homer, 15 steal season. Yeah, he's been up earlier with the Blue Jays. He's back up now that Vladdy's got his concussion. And I'm sure he could be headed back to Buffalo as soon as Vladdy comes back. But he has been riding a nice BABIP at 343 that maybe the Blue Jays keep him around and see what they have and throw him in the outfield and see what he can do.
Yeah, he's been near the top of the lineup quite a bit. Sometimes that's all you need. Drew Gilbert, I don't know. This probably wasn't even worth the time, but I just saw that he has a 721 OPS since the All-Star break, 384 expected WOBA. This is a Giants outfielder, 5% owned, so certainly available.
He was a deep, deep sleeper in my world because I was like, oh, he was, former first-round pick, was at Tennessee. The Tennessee coach is the new manager of the Giants. It's all going to come together. He's going to know how to make Drew Gilbert that first-round pick that he was. It hasn't happened completely. He is playing better the second half of the season than he was on the first half of the season, but I don't know. He's looking more and more like a fourth outfielder at this point.
Yeah. Spencer Jones. I just saw 5 steals, man. I didn't know Spencer Jones steal some bags. So
no, Spencer Jones was Joshua Baez before Joshua Baez was Joshua Baez. So
I just profiled him, I guess. I racially profiled him because he's white.
There you go.
And kind of a big guy.
You wouldn't think 6'7", 230 would move that fast, but he can steal some bags.
Since July 26th, he's got 5 steals and 3 homers. I mean, don't ask any more questions about what his batting average is or what his strikeout rate is.
Exactly. Don't even pay attention. Just put him in your lineup and don't pay attention. That's what I've done in my AL only league. He's in there, and I don't even bother to look at the box score for him.
Certainly don't watch the at bats. Although if he could run into one of those homers, maybe you'll see one of those. Certainly some upside. I'm ignorant. I guess I should have known. I was surprised when I saw 5 steals lately. So Tim Tawa, 4 homers, 4 steals since the break. I don't know. I think this guy's from Pittsburgh. I thought he was really fast. I thought I remember when he was calling up there, like, oh, this guy's one of the fastest guys. And I looked today, and I must have been mistaken. I must have been thinking about something else because he's not.
Yes, he is not the fastest guy.
There was
4 steals and 4 homers is not bad.
Then he's not from Pittsburgh. There was some other like white Diamondbacks outfielder that was getting called up the last couple of years that is from Pittsburgh, and I do think it was Tawa. Maybe I just heard that he was fast and he wasn't. I never checked it, but Ketel Marte's the second baseman, right? Does Tawa only play the outfield? Do you know?
No, Tawa plays everywhere. He plays third base, second base, first base, so he could get some of that playing time if Ketel is.
And we don't know what's going on with Ketel Marte. Like,
allegedly, he was headed back to join the team wherever they were. I think they were just getting ready to leave Boston. So
they were in Boston, and it was like an underdog tweet. This is actually just kind of funny, I guess. The guy running these underdog accounts, they have pretty big sway. Like, they are very followed and very retweeted. Not sway, they don't influence things, but they have a lot of attention. And it's probably just some college kid, like, whatever. And they can pick their own words. And he writes, like, Ketel Marte will not be in the lineup Friday night. I think it was Friday or Monday night. It was this week in Fenway. The Diamondbacks were hoping he would be there. It's like, yeah, that makes sense that they were hoping that their second baseman would be there. It was like I play on Sundays sometimes, and it's like, guys have families and they're taking trips, and we're
so and so.
Yeah, we're like, well, we're hoping Timmy can show up and play first base today. It's like, no, this is the major freaking leagues. But then the next day he's going back to Arizona to get some wrist thing checked on or something, and I was like, okay,
yeah.
I was like, okay, well, I feel kind of bad because I was, you're kind of insinuating that Ketel Marte is just like blowing the team off, but maybe that's not the case. Maybe it's something very personal. He doesn't want to come out. Maybe he's hurt. So it's like, okay, maybe we shouldn't make fun of him. Maybe it's something more serious. But then today I see that the Diamondbacks owner or somebody was like, we have no idea. Right. Like there was some quote that they just don't know what's going on. So there's no explanation for it. It seems crazy that it would be like, he's just disgruntled and refusing to play because they're in the playoffs race. Like, this is not a situation where they're just done for the year, 10 games under 500. Like, these are very important games. So I want to give them the benefit of the doubt that it's something serious, but I don't know. And anyway, anytime a big player like that gets hurt or leaves the lineup, it changes a couple things. You can stream pitchers against them a little bit more confidently. Marte's a big bat to miss. And then guys like Tawa step in for your very deep leagues and get more playing time. Like 30-team dynasty league we're in, I've learned that. Like, sometimes you just need somebody that can score a couple times a week. Like, give me 3 hits and 2 runs this week, and I'll be good, because right now I have Davis freaking Schneider, who's not even in the major leagues, and I'm like, he's in my outfield because I don't have any other options. There's nobody else on waivers, and I'm gonna make the playoffs in the MLBDW 30-team dynasty league, I think. Shout out to me and some clutch rule changes that have redrawn the standings. But
yes, we've
right.
had a Ketel Marte kind of week at the MLB Data Warehouse League.
Yeah, dynasty leagues are like, you basically need a 30-team dynasty league. You basically need to pay someone to be the commissioner and spend like a good 30 to 60 minutes on it every day. And we didn't do that. Nobody wants to take it because I don't know. So anybody listening that's in the league, I'm not trying to make light of the stuff that happened. Like, it was unfortunate, but I think we got it right. And some people get screwed, but I don't know. Like, it's not the most well-run dynasty league, but hopefully we'll get better. And if anybody has interest in joining a 30-team dynasty league, send us a message. We will probably have a few openings every winter. I'm not thinking of anybody specific right now, but nature of the beast.
No, that's what happens.
All right. So Jon and John, anything else to add from your side?
I don't think so. Hopefully, it's a good weekend for your
fantasy football sleeper
fantasy football
for me.
drafts.
Any advice? Sleepers?
I don't know. I mean, I'm a Bills fan, and I notoriously always stay away from the Bills. But I think this might be the year that I draft my Bills and let the chips fall where they may, which will probably be right in the gutter. But
two-man show.
I like what I'm seeing.
Josh Allen and James Cook. I would like to do some fantasy football podcasts.
DJ Moore. Don't forget DJ
Moore. Oh, there you go. Also, I made fun of Joshua Baez's haircut. Did you see that?
No.
Okay, so that's another thing I felt kind of bad about it. I think I actually deleted it. I just saw a video of him talking. I didn't listen to the video. It was just an interview. And I noticed his haircut was terrible. I guess it's a really ugly haircut. So I quoted it and I said, 3 homers, 1 bad haircut. And it turns out he was talking about his dead father. So that was unfortunate. But I don't know, like a haircut's a haircut. Like, I don't know. You don't really have an excuse for such a bad haircut. But anyway, the point is that some people said that I have the same haircut. Do I have a bad haircut? I'm married. I don't care. But I wanted to take them seriously. But now I'm looking at myself like, maybe I do have a horrible haircut. I don't know.
All right, put it in the comments below, folks.
Yeah, let me know. I don't really care anyway. Like I said, I'm married. She's fine with me. I'm in relatively good shape. So, all right, that's it. That was a wild ride at the end there. But we'll talk to you next time. Peace out.